mix here. What was your reaction to Rory Laird's one game ban being upheld?
Oh, disappointed that we won't have Rory out there, but we've got to move on, and we've got to set up now to play Saturday night and focus on who's going to step into that void, because he's been very good for us this year. So, but we've got guys that are ready to go in that spot, so we move on to what's next.
Who are you thinking?
Well, Brodie's an obvious one. You know, he's put his hand up right throughout the year and has been ready, and he put it probably plays in a lot of back lines across the league. And at the moment, it's been a tough year for him to sit one back, but he deserves his opportunity again.
Yeah, you don't often get 40-odd touches in the SANFL. That's at a pretty loud pace to play first game.
Yes, he's been yelling in my office this week. He did really well on the weekend. I'd say that's probably his best performance for the year. Brought the energy, brought the enthusiasm. Off the back of that came some really high-level footy from him. So impressive. He's put his hand up and said, hey, put us in, coach, which is great. Doesn't necessarily mean that he'll get the opportunity, but it's a really good sign for where he's at.
Was being led one, is it increasingly confusing to players what's right and what's wrong? Because we sat through the hearing, he did try and use a pushing motion. There was some contact there. This is a line grey error.
No, the game's quick. That's all I'll say. The game's really quick, a lot faster than maybe some who have never played the game think. And it's tough, but it's the decision that has been made, and we're going to move on.
Would this game against the Magpies be possibly the biggest you've had in your tenure?
They keep getting bigger, but yeah, this is huge. This is a team that's, I know you'll go there, they've had the wood on us. And the reason for that, they're a very good side. Collingwood, they do it to a lot of sides. If it's a close game, they find a way. And that's why they've been sitting up the top and highly respected for so long. They've beaten us the last 10 times.
They're a good side, but are they a good side at the moment?
Every side's a good side. It's what you're going to bring on the weekend. We showed that, didn't we, last weekend? You're never that good, never that bad. Collingwood, I've got no doubt. Saturday night, big crowd will be huge here, and we've been packing this out with our supporters and our members, and so it'll be a big stage, and Collingwood have shown on a big stage they love to perform.
When the team is behind like that, are you even wary of the response?
No, at the moment we're focused on what we're going to bring, because I mentioned it post game. It was the first time we've really dropped off in a couple of key areas. Being our intensity and our energy, and we've spoken about a lot how hard it is to stay at that level, across a full season. We had a drop away in that, so we're locking in on what we've got to bring Saturday night. More so, we know our opposition really well. We played a lot of footy against them, watched a lot of their footy, because when you have respect for a side that can get it done like they do, you learn a lot. So we know how they play. It's going to come back to what we bring Saturday night, and that's what we're focused on at the moment.
Can it be the wake-up call you might need, given you've been up for so long?
Yeah, if you go back through the history of the game, there's been teams that have had success off the back, but had a little drop away here and there. We hope that's the case. We can get straight back on the horse.
We know what Tex brings, and obviously he'll come back into the side. Is there something that maybe happened against West Coast that wouldn't have happened if he had played? In terms
hypotheticals?
of drop-offs and things like that, is he going to does he raise the standards in that stake?
There's no doubt he brings on-field leadership to us, and so a lot of we don't talk in them, but we look forward to him coming back in. We've got to train obviously tonight, and everything's got to go well there. But he brings more than just what he does with the ball in his hands. He brings so much more to our group. He's even sitting at home taking notes on what he's seeing in the screen and presenting back to the group about his experiences and what he liked, and so he's constantly working for our group, constantly leading, and hopefully we get him ready to go Saturday night and he brings that on field.
Why has it sort of really a Peatland? What do you have to see for Peatland?
Sorry, what was the question?
Phil Phillips went cleared, but Peatland, what do you have to see?
JP's got to get going tonight, but we're confident he'll be okay. It was there was no risk taken with him in the latter part of the game. It was a decision he probably feels like he maybe could have gone on, but we weren't going to take a risk with it. It was quite a substantial corky that he's done a great job recovering well. So the first 24, 48 hours, he's done a good job. So he's confident he'll play, and we're pretty confident he'll get up.
We saw last year how important Riley was. When you're down in a game like that and Riley goes down, the season sort of flashed before your eyes for a split second.
Yeah. Apparently the camera went to me in the box and I looked pretty disappointed. That's any player. That's any player on our list, but I think everyone knows how important Riley's been this year, and you feel for the individual first. I guess you have concerns about it being something major, and then you think about the team and what that does, and how influential he's been for us. So it was great to see him recover well. It was just a stinger, and for him to get back out there and perform the way he did and to finish the game off, he was instrumental in the end result. It's a good sign for where he's at.
How beneficial is it to have a game like this with what's on the line leading into finals? I mean, a dress rehearsal in a lot of ways.
Yeah, it's a great lead-in. Yeah, there's always that balance of teams coming in with an easier draw. Is that dangerous? I think any team now that's fighting, we're all fighting for spots. I think we'd all love an easier draw as it sits, and we saw what supposedly is an easier draw. They're not that easy. The competition's so tight. So we'll take any game, but to be able to come up against a team that's been the benchmark at our home deck as well, it's an exciting one for us, and it is a good lead-in.
What would another win in a game like this do?
As I said, we want to get back to what we've been doing consistently. The result will take care of itself if we're able to bring what we didn't bring last week. That's really what it's about. We're not thinking about outcome. We're in process now. Let's get back to our best. And when you see us our best, you see the boys with energy and they're enjoying their footy. And there's an intensity about us which we didn't see at the level on the weekend.
What are you looking to get Taylor from being pure mid to a forward? It was last week an indication he's finally making that transition.
Is that Jackie Taylor? Yeah, it was. I think he impacted the game like we were looking for. He had some really key moments where it wasn't necessarily ball in hand. It was, his physicality, his transition, his ability to tackle and put pressure on the oppo. So it was really impressive areas that he's been working on, and I think his teammates stood taller after watching it, and they're going to have a lot of confidence in where he's heading.
What sort of energy does the fans give the side? Obviously, open session here today. They've waited a long time for a game like this. The players feeding off that buzz. Yeah,
it's huge. Every side would say their fans are the best, but for those who have been to AO and come and watch the Crows home game, especially when you look at the last time we played here was 54,000. Unfortunately, I have to sit behind the glass where it's reasonably soundproof. I'd love to get out amongst it, but it's quite an atmosphere, and there's no doubt our players, they lift with that. We really rate our supporters highly, and they're so important coming into this time of the year.
Just back to Collingwood, are there any teams, you've lost the last 5 by a couple of games, but is there any teams that you can point from that, or that they've done better than you guys, or vice versa?
The main thing which I mentioned earlier is they're just a very good side. So, they're a very good side who know how to win. They do have a lot of experience in amongst their group, and experience goes a long way when it comes to close games. Knowing not only what to do to win, but what to do not to lose. And they've had the wood on us in that area, but we're getting better and better every time we play. So we'll just continue to build our confidence and know, at the right time, the result will go our way.